Welcome back to the programme. Before the break, we discussed the implications of charging Blackwater security personnel. But what's to stop this kind of incident happening again? The Iraqi government and the United States signed a new security deal last month. We have touched on it just slightly, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. The United States employs around 163,000 private contractors in Iraq. Since 2003, non-Iraqi citizens working for the US have been immune from Iraqi law. Under the new Status of Forces Agreement, private companies, including Blackwater Worldwide, will be fully subject to both criminal and civil laws from January onwards. The Iraqi parliament refused to sign the deal until private security operations were included, but some insiders are now concerned about the deal's repercussions on recruitment and retention in this area. Still with us are our guests in London, Sabal Mukhtar, in New York, Michael Cohen, and in Dubai, Riyad Kawaji. And Mr. Kawaji, clearly something must be done with the way these contractors operate, but is this the way to do it? And won't it impact negatively on recruitment?
Of course, hiring people from Western countries, I don't think is going to impact their capability to hire people from third world countries. There's still a lot of security guards who come from Asian countries, from Middle Eastern countries, and from Africa and Latin America. They won't have problem getting people from these parts of the world. I won't even be surprised to see a lot of Iraqis now being hired by these companies to operate under the new system inside Iraq. This is a multi-million or multi-billion-dollar industry, and I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's already established roots in the region. The security firms here is a booming industry. And in Iraq, a lot of officials, VIPs, don't have much confidence in security forces, and many of them, I know, hire their own bodyguards from their own security, from various security firms. So I think there will be some role. As for their association, with the U.S. forces and operating alongside U.S. forces, it's no longer the same. Before, these guys were totally immune. Now there is much lesser immunity, and therefore anybody who is signing up to come to Iraq is going to come under this new reality, and therefore whatever evolve from any future, hopefully nothing will happen, but from any future bad situations where there are fatalities, I think the justice will be served in a different way than it was in this incident we're discussing now.
But Mr. Mukhtar, there must be some concern that you are placing these contractors at the mercy of an underdeveloped Iraqi judicial system.
Well, certainly the Iraqi judicial system, which thanks to the Americans they have dismantled, they have created a new one. It is very, very bad. But I think it is it's quite tall for the Americans to talk about justice when we have the Guantanamo Bay and we have the other proceedings which they had over the abuses of human rights in Iraq. But to go back to the issue of the immunity, under the agreement, and I have the text here, the official text, Article 12, Paragraph 1 of it, it talks about them being subject to Iraqi law, except they have to commit a crime which is a premeditated grave one, and secondly, outside the duty. So if we apply this to Nasur incident, it will definitely fit here, because they were on duty and it was not premeditated. They didn't leave the green zone to go and kill people, so it is not premeditated, and they were on duty because they were escorting some American guests there. So I guarantee to you that, and to the Americans who want to join these private contractors in Iraq, they will have exactly the same immunity as they had before. This is the text of the agreement. This is not an opinion of somebody in the Foreign Office or the State Department or the Defense.
So you don't believe that anything will change? I mean, Mr. Cohen, looking ahead, love them or hate them, private contractors are there to stay in Iraq. Can Iraq function without them?
Yeah, I think there's there's two types of contractors here. I mean, first of all, armed contractors make up a very small percentage of the contractors in Iraq. Most contractors, frankly, are Iraqi citizens or third country nationals. And I think for many of them, they'll continue to participate and continue to be in Iraq performing contracting duties. I think the problem is going to come for Western contractors, particularly Americans, who may see too big of a risk in some of the ambiguities in the status of force agreement and think that it's not worth going to Iraq and performing security functions. And I think there's real danger there of deprofessionalizing the contractor corps. You've seen this in Afghanistan already with rather poor PSC organizations there, groups composed of mainly Afghanis that have actually killed civilians and have killed Canadian soldiers in some cases. So I think that's kind of part of the danger here. Is I think it's a very small number of people affected by this, mainly American contractors, but that it could have significant impact on not just on American diplomats who they protect, but also on Iraqi civilians. But it's also one other issue
what is the way forward
here
then? Because Iraq needs to prove that it's a sovereign state, and many people feel that this Blackwater trial is going ahead just to do that. But if they need security, what is the way forward?
Well, you know, I think if American diplomats need security, they have to either use American troops or they have to hire contractors. My suggestion was they should use American troops for this, because for the American troops, the jurisdictional issues are much clearer. I think it's also fair to say that if the American government had done a poor job of conducting oversight of these contractors, if they had actually thought about the legal frameworks and actually prosecuted contractors for offenses, then I think the Iraqis would not have been so vigilant about ensuring that the SOFA agreement included took away immunity for contractors. I mean, part of the problem here is the American government's done a very poor job at creating legal frameworks, really holding their own people accountable. And so I think what happened in East Square and the fallout from that is a result of that failure. And I think going forward, though, I think you really have to expect that that you're going to see more use of Iraqi PSCs, third country national PSCs, and I think that could be a problem. I don't think they're as well trained as American PSCs, and that could be an issue down the road.
And Mr. Khawaji, very briefly from you, when the security agreement comes into force, what's going to happen to these contractors? Iraqis clearly don't want them there. Surely their lives will also be in danger.
They will find a way to function one way or another. They can easily find fronts using registered Iraqi-based security companies over there to operate. They can subcontract a lot of the deals they have. This is a very booming and prosperous industry, and as I mentioned, you know, they have a lot of associates and partners within the Iraqi establishment itself. So I don't think they're going to go anywhere. They will be there. They'll be functioning either directly under their own name or through subcontracts using local or regional companies.
So all eyes on this case, whether it won't go ahead. Mr. Khawaji, thank you for your thoughts. Joined there by Michael Cohen and also Sabah Al-Mokhtar. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us on this edition of Inside Story. And of course, thank you for watching Inside Story. We welcome your comments and suggestions. Please email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. That's insidestory@aljazeera.net. Goodbye for now, and thanks for watching.